Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you are. Welcome to a new Bitcoin technical analysis video. I'm your host, Matt Batiri, here with you today, once again, to look at the charts of Bitcoin and talk about what to expect during this week. Alrighty, so on the weekly scale, we have a really good indication that Bitcoin is now breaking out of the value area high of the sideways range that we've been trading in ever since we hit the bottom of 15,500 on November 9th. So coming up close to a month ago, we had a bit of a drop. We formed this inverse head and shoulders. We're now sort of breaking out from this inverse head and shoulders, and we have a potential target for this inverse head and shoulders. Let's have a quick look where this could go. So around about 18,100, so close to the wick that we had back here. So wouldn't surprise me too much if we are able to get up here. But even if we do go a little bit further, I assume we're probably going to run into some resistance at the value area low of the previous range that we were in for many months. So this is the range from June all the way to November. So we're going to probably find some resistance there if we can make it that high. I still am a little bit weary of the current environment, and I still don't believe that we have seen the low for Bitcoin. I could be completely wrong. And we're going to go over some of the indicators today to look at how I could possibly be wrong. So a couple of things that I firstly want to mention. So on Market Cipher B, we did get a weekly green dot, and that's also given us a nice, let me just remove this drawing for a sec so you guys can see what I'm talking about. You guys can see that we have a bullish divergence. So we've made a lower low in price, and we have a higher low on the weekly momentum wave. So that's a good thing for the bulls. The next thing that's good for the bulls is we have the stochastic RSI that has now crossed positive to the upside, which is giving us obviously this short rally at present time. So those are two things that we can clearly see. We also see the MACD's moving averages is still pushing to the upside. We have formed two green histogram candles, so we did not continue the bearish candles that we had before, which is those lighter green candles. Normally will tend to roll over. And MACD, it just shows that, is a great tool, but sometimes you can't just put all your eggs in one basket when looking at tools to predict price action for cryptocurrencies or any asset in that case. If I just quickly scroll down through the 5-day, the 3-day, the 2-day, and the daily, we have bullish divergences and MACD, stochastic RSI moving to the upside, and MACD's crossing over in a bullish stance. So that's really good for the bull Lars as well. The only thing is, I think the price action has been going a little bit slow just because people are still unsure if this was the macro bottom. We have changed market structure a little bit from this sell-off. So we had this low, we've created a lower high, a higher low, and now we do have a higher high from these points here. But really, the next higher high is going to be around that 18,100. So I think we're probably on our way to about that price range, but I think we're probably going to see a little bit of resistance and harder resistance to break around that 18,500 mark. So that's kind of what I'm expecting this week. On the shorter time frames, like the 4-hour, we can see that the stochastic RSI on the 4-hour has is in the overbought territory. So we're probably, we could have just created what's called a bit of a swing failure pattern from the recent highs that we had here on the 1st of December. You can see that we've kind of broken this high, but we haven't really followed through. And this is sometimes, something that I look for. If we haven't really exploded past the previous highs, a bit like here. So you can see that we had this high here. This candle here just exploded through that, the resistance line here, this angled trend line, and also flew past the previous local high. So right now we have broken the most recent local high, but we're not doing it in amazing fashion. So could we see some bearish divergence forming? Let me just remove the MACD and let's put the normal RSI on. Where are we? There we go. So the normal RSI could create a bearish divergence, and so could market cipher B. So what we would need to see is we would need to see a red dot on market cipher B that is lower than this peak right here. So it would need to happen in the next 4 hours, which doesn't look like it right now. And on the RSI, we would need a peak lower than the previous peak. So the previous peak was about 76, which means we do still have plenty of room to the upside. And maybe we do break that 70, what is it? I'll give you an exact 76 reading on the RSI to negate the bearish divergence, and we continue pushing to the upside. So right now, things look, pretty good. Let's have a look at some of the other forms. So we have a bearish divergence on the 1 hour on the RSI. So we can see, let me just remove that indicator. Boom. So we have a bearish divergence. So from here to here, we have a higher rise in price action. And on the RSI, we have a lower high from here to here. So even if it's not the same candle, so from this candle to this candle where we created this peak, we have was it a previous peak? Okay. So from this candle here, the green one, to that one, we have a higher high in price action, but we have a lower high on the RSI. You could say that maybe I don't think we have a bearish divergence on market cipher B, but you can see the RSI on market cipher B also forming a bearish divergence. So we're probably looking to come back a little bit. How far can we come back? Well, let's just put the fixed range indicator. Okay, we can see that we broke out of the value area high of this sideways range that we've been in for the last 5-6 days. So we would need to hold above 17,121 to remain bullish. So we hit the value area high of the range and then we blast off, or maybe this was a bit of a fake out and we come back down to the point of control or the value area low of the range. So these are some things that I'm looking at. I'm a little bit weary that this is potentially was a fake out because we did not have volume come in once we break this previous high, because normally when we break a previous high, we tend to get a little bit of momentum to the upside and we create it once again another high. But right here, we broke just the local previous high, and now we're sort of having a bit of a sell-off. So that's something that's also got me cautious. And on top of that, it's 4:30 in the afternoon in Australia, but the US markets aren't opening until this evening. So are they going to see this as a potential to start shorting Bitcoin again and selling off their assets? Because a lot of people do believe that Bitcoin is going to head lower. So this is probably close to an opportunity where whales are going to start selling off their coins once again, because they do believe that Bitcoin is going to make lower lows. So we will just have to wait and see. Let's look at a couple of other things that we can see if Bitcoin can continue this run to the upside. So this is the DYDX that has an inverse relationship with Bitcoin. We can see that the money flow on the daily has crossed over into the red. It looks like it wants to form a few bullish divergences, not on the RSI. It looks like the RSI wants to continue moving to the downside. So it looks like we may continue this DXY sell-off, which is going to give Bitcoin some gas. On the weekly, however, let's have a look what happened on the weekly. So we probably have peaked out with the DXY, which makes me think maybe that was the low for Bitcoin. Usually when we see a peak in money flow, which is this green wave, we can see that wave is now heading down. So we probably peaked out over here. Probably means that maybe Bitcoin did bottom out of that 15,500. So it's a good case for the bullars. But look, at the end of the day, as a trader, I need to keep to my convictions, and I still think that we're heading down to about $13,000-14,000. When that's going to happen, I cannot tell you, but I just still feel that there's a lot of liquidity down there, and I think a lot of the whales would like to, still get some cheap Bitcoin, even though we've seen whale addresses increase their exposure by about 1% over the last week in in Bitcoin, which is a good case for the bulls. I think that, I still would like to see lower prices. And look, at the end of the day, I may not get what I want to see, but look, let's draw a couple other trend lines. What can we see? I know that we had a descending wedge. Okay, so we have a descending wedge here on the larger time frame, so we could even come up to the top of the wedge. Let's see if we can see any confluence, like maybe the point of control of this sideways range. Let's have a look. Okay, so I mean, we could take our time getting up to 19,200, which would hit this trend line, hit the point of control of this sideways range. But as I said, we've got this value area low at about 18,800. So that we still got plenty of time. Let me just add another candle onto that one. See if things change. 18,850. That is an area that I'll be looking to possibly short Bitcoin. I need to obviously look at the volume when things get there, and also need to see if there's any other trend lines that are formed. We can even do a Fibonacci retracement line. So we can see the golden pocket is lining up with the point of control of the sideways or previous range that we did have. So, we could even get up to, 19,400-ish and then see a reversal in price. So we'll just have to wait and see. But macroeconomically, we have been getting some better news out of the Fed. It looks like they are not continuing their hawkish stance on interest rates, and we're probably going to start seeing a decrease in the interest rate hikes. So we've been obviously doing 75 basis points the last few times. Possibly, if we go down to 50 basis points, that's going to give a lot of confidence to investors to get back into the market. And that was the low in both the stock market and the crypto market. And now we're going to have a slow grind up till about, I believe, April 1st. And from April 1st, we'll see the exponential blast off in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies once again. So that is it for my technical analysis video on Bitcoin today. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to know more about news adoption and Twitter highlights, feel free to join us on our DC live stream tomorrow at 4 p.m. And I'll catch you guys then. Thanks for watching and see you tomorrow. Bye.